All right, I know it's late, but away we go. It is the nightcap. Live edition. Oh, I didn't even look. There's like a whole. People have been in the chat for like 30 minutes.
Sorry.
This is on Keegan.
Yep.
It's okay. We'll let it slide this time because he was trying to get back to his hotel. The Bearcats get the hard-fought, challenging 27-21 victory in Pittsburgh tonight. This show, as always, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app. They will bring it right to your front door, pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or get down to Dayton, Kentucky, Wednesday through Sunday. Tomorrow would be perfect. Get you some chicken tendies, some fried chicken, some fries, some coleslaw for the Bengals game. They will get you hooked up. All right, here we go. The man on the scene. You got a couch in your hotel? Like, are you Airbnb in it or hoteling it tonight?
I'm hoteling it. Booked
Nice.
too late to get a good Airbnb. So,
it's Pittsburgh. There's probably not many good Airbnbs, if we're being honest.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
within 30 minutes. Yeah,
I'm just saying. But a dominating first half, a second half where Pitt made some very clear adjustments that rattled the Bearcats' offense a little bit. They went to a chuck and duck Pitt offense that just prayed for a miracle catch or a pass interference call. I thought the officials were shit, but that's neither here nor there. But the Bearcats go on the road. The first Power 5 game for Scott Satterfield. First road game for this bunch. They dominate early. Corey Kiner was a man, a grown-ass man. And Cincinnati hangs on for the 27-21 win. Keegan, give us the insight, the lowdown from inside OK Sure Stadium. Okay, sure. Okay, sure.
I hate how funny that was. It was a fun game. It was a really up and down game. I think, in my prediction, I said that they'd try to punch him in the mouth on both sides of the ball early, and that's really what they did. I think the defense came out. Juwan Briggs and Deshaun Pace were living in the backfield. And then the offense they dinked and dunked it when they needed to, and then they took some decently chunked plays down the field. But in that first half, I mean, Emory Jones didn't need to do anything because Corey Kiner was doing everything. And I know that's not sustainable as seen by he didn't have as good a second half as the first, of course, in this Pitt Narduzzi defense. But he really, really set the Bearcats up for success, gave them an easy first half to the point where there were a few mistakes in the second, but they didn't play themselves out of a win. They played just good enough to be able to hold on to the win. Bleeding clock, all that stuff.
You know what I don't want to get lost in this?
What?
How awesome was that first drive?
Oh, it was beautiful.
Like, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Pitt had the ball, punted. Cincinnati got the ball, scored a touchdown, and there was still 13 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah, and they just keep on going to the tight end flat. Like, that's just a evergreen play that the Bearcats are going to use, apparently.
Forever and ever and ever and ever. Peyton Singletary gets his second touchdown.
Yeah, he said he's looking like the one. And like this. Go ahead.
He's a guy that is reliable in the passing game, and he's showing it.
Mm-hmm.
The staff loves
the snap count. The snap counts between him and Mateer, it's been pretty heavily Singletary. So,
yeah, I mean, it's going to get lost because so much happened after it. But that first drive, bang, 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 touchdown. Whoa. Like, okay. Another thing we need to talk about. Eastern Kentucky played with Kentucky for 4 quarters today.
We were tracking it before the game. Me and Aaron were like that was when I saw that. That's when, because I was confident going in, but then I said to myself, they're probably going to win this game because Wofford has won 4 or 5 games in the past 3 years. EKU
they're really bad.
Went to the FCS playoffs as a high-powered offense. And then you have Gavin Bartholomew on a podcast earlier this week saying they gave up some shot plays to a bad team, so we'll have to take advantage. But it's EKU. They're going to throw the ball around. And
they have an NFL. That guy's going to play quarterback in the NFL. It might, like we talked about last. It might be on a practice squad. He might be a backup. Like he's never going to probably be an NFL starter. But that guy's going to play quarterback in the NFL. That's what he looked like against Kentucky today. So you're right. That was that first thing, like leading into the game where you're like, wait a minute.
They beat EKU worse than Pittsburgh beat Wofford.
Yeah.
And EKU would kill Wofford. Like that's something that's very significant.
Right. Aaron, eyes on the road, not on the chat. You're driving. Back to the game. That was about, for especially the first quarter and a half, like almost shocking that they just controlled Pitt the way that they did. And I thought a lot of it was game plan. Like they out game plan Pitt on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and Satterfield was really picking apart the offense or the defense pretty well. And I think the one play where it was most apparent was the Corey Kiner converted 4th down, I think, where they just kind of lobbed it out to him in the flat and he got like 6-7 yards. Or Emory Jones hitting D. Wiggins basically whenever he wanted to. The comeback route to Xavier Henderson on 3rd down was a huge play. I think that led to
by Xavier Henderson.
I think that led to the field goal before the half, which milked another 4 minutes off the clock. With that drive,
how about that drive? 8.5 minutes. Like you get it at the 1, you go 8.5 minutes, and you just say you're not getting the ball back. Like we're going to take this into halftime.
Yeah.
Up 20-7.
Yeah, and I said to Aaron, I was like, they don't need to score. They don't need to even score. Just don't give Pitt the ball back. Just get the ball back after half and try to do something. But they go down, and credit to Carter Brown for that 47-yard field goal. That's not really expected to be a make at the college level, and he nailed it. So
especially at that field, like with the grass, like that is a hard place to make field goals. It wasn't going into the open end where it's damn near impossible.
Yeah.
But if you've ever followed the Steelers, like, if you're a Bengals fan, that place kicking field goals is a nightmare. And that thing was clear with, an extra 8-10 yards probably.
Yes, very easily.
So that drive was impressive. But just a first half where Cincinnati dominated, you knew, and dog. That's right, Dave. Carter Smith, dog.
Brown.
Carter Brown, you know what I mean. Bearcat 17 says he's sorry for jumping you coming off the elevator. He was fired up.
That's who fanboyed with me and Aaron. That was first time in my professional career I've gotten noticed, so that made my entire day.
They were texting about it in the group chat, Bearcat 17.
Immediately off the elevator, Aaron Gigan. I was like, what the hell? That was fun.
Thank you for the donation, Hunter. If you send a donation, we will read your question immediately and stop whatever we're talking about. So Hunter wants to know, were the receivers not getting separation, or was it just part of the game plan to short game it all night? They got separation in the first half. In the second half, Pitt was just all balls to the wall coming after the quarterback, or they were run blitzing. They were not going to let Cincinnati pick them apart in the second half. That is, again, you're playing a team that is one of the best sack teams in the country under Pat Narduzzi. Satterfield told you Tuesday, that they
I
were
really
not
like
going to
Pitt.
have a game plan where they were just having Emory Jones sit back there and looking downfield. Yeah, you want to because he throws a great deep ball, but the reality is Pitt is going to get after your quarterback, and leaving him on a spot to just stand and try to chuck the ball downfield is not something that's going to work a lot against Pitt. So it's just not going to be a massive part of the game plan.
And it's also when Corey Kiner is getting whatever he wants, that's going to be a big chunk of your play calling.
Sure.
So the opportunities for Xavier Henderson and Braden Smith to get downfield and try to make big chunk plays isn't really going to happen when Corey Kiner had 130 yards rushing, a career high before halftime.
Yeah.
So
they're just not. And then you're up 20-7, 27-10, or 27-7, whatever. Like, you're not just trying to push the ball downfield in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to get first downs. You're trying to grind out the clock. Is it a little passive? Yeah, but you're also playing a defense that is good. Like, just because they were able to expose them in the first half with Kiner doesn't mean that automatically translates to the second half.
Yeah, and that I feel like a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, we scored 20 in the first half and our offense sucked," but you're not going to score 45 to 50 points on Pitt's defense, or maybe any Big 12 defense. Period. So that can't.
Well,
be
there's
the
some bad Big
expectation.
12 defenses, so maybe you can do that on a couple of them. But Connor, this is what I want to get to. Like, is the overarching point of this? Do we feel like the second half, and thanks for the donation, was Pitt adjustments or our play calling being more conservative, trying to drain time? I think it was a little bit of both. But more so, I think Pitt just started playing to their level of who they are as a defense. Like, if you would have told me Cincinnati did what they did in the first half, especially Corey going in with 130 at halftime, a career high rushing in the first half against a really, really stout defense, I would have told you you're crazy. But I think here's the thing that's important to note about a little bit about how this game played out. Pitt is a front running defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are a defense. It's D'Antonio, it's Fickle, it's Narduzzi. They want to get a 7 to 10 point lead and then grind you out.
Yeah.
And when they get down, they don't go away from that. Like, we saw that with Fickle a lot. And you saw it with Narduzzi where they're like, okay, we're not going to let you just like run the ball at will, chew up 5-6 yards a carry, and grind out the clock. And even when Cincinnati tried to pass, there wasn't a lot over the top that was available. Emory talked about it. They were playing cloud coverage, which, what's a cloud? It covers the top and provides pressure at the point of attack. So they weren't able really to get anybody free deep, and they weren't able to give Emory enough time to just stand back there and pick them apart. And some of those drives were 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, where they just didn't convert. And then you have to punt. So I think it was a little bit of both. Is there some cause for concern there? A little bit, yeah. But also, remember, you're still dealing with an offense that has 10 new starters. Like, this is not yet a well-oiled machine. It is not yet an offense that's just going to chew you up and spit you out, that has been clicking on all cylinders. So I think you give a little credit to Pitt because they did make adjustments and did make things a little difficult, a lot more difficult on the Cincinnati offense in the second half. And also, as a head coach, it's difficult not to want to. You're up 20. You're up 20 points. You're up 3 touchdowns essentially. You're thinking, let's keep this thing moving, right? Let's get out of here with this victory. You're not. Fans think I want to win this game, 52-7.
Yeah.
Coaches think, I want to win this game, get on the plane, and get the fuck back to Cincinnati. Those are two different trains of thought.
I also want to point out, as a fan base, you should feel very blessed that you have a reason to complain after going on the road to Pitt and winning.
Right.
You have a gripe after a road win against a Power 5 program.
Hunter, we appreciate you. You bet 100 on the money line at plus 225. Happy to reinvest in the Bearcat Journal, baby. We look, we love you. We love you. And Dave's right. Like, this is my point. The Pitt D played better. They ran it more, threw short because they could. There's no point in throwing a ton of deep routes where you're letting your quarterback sit there and strip sacks, or what happened on the lone turnover when they hit Emory right as he was letting the ball go, and the ball floats and they're able to pick it off. Like, I just, I think they were doing what they felt they needed to do to win the game, and they found themselves in position to do what? Win the game. Mm-hmm. You know what you do, Keegan?
You play to win the game.
Play to win the game. Connor with the $10 donation. The other thing I'd like to know, the crowd sounded loudish on TV, but the stadium also looked half full. Was it a harsh environment? He was kind of embarrassed for Pitt looking at the stadium on TV.
It wasn't. And I think Satterfield talked about it after the first game at Nippert, saying, it's small, but the environment is significant because there's no empty seats. And you look up in these big stadiums and there's a lot of empty seats. They had an attendance of 49,000, I think was the official number.
Ha! That's a goddamn lie.
That might have been all tickets sold. But tickets were very cheap. Pitt has
always been notorious for reporting far more tickets.
There wasn't a single person in the upper levels at all. The lower levels were mainly full, but there were some scattered. The student section was loud. I gave credit to the student section on that one end.
Student section.
Yeah, the student section was big and very loud. They did a really good job, but I wouldn't say it was a harsh environment. I think filling out at NFL Stadium is tough. But I think Pitt has
no, like, it's a 60,000 seat stadium. Like, there are teams that sell out 60,000 seat stadiums pretty regularly.
Okay, but not Pitt.
No, not Pitt. You're right. Just don't report 50,000.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
It wasn't 50,000.
Deanna re-ups. Pretty sure the Bearcats won because she wore her Pike to Ben's shirt. Whatever works, Deanna.
Were you drinking out of your Pike to Ben's cup?
Me?
No,
or
Deanna.
Oh,
Deanna.
I don't have a Pike to Ben's cup. I was drinking Cincy Lights at the Holy Grail.
How was that, by the way?
It's good. It's good. Full crowd. A lot of Cincy Lights consumed. Down the drive pretty regularly. It was pretty much the perfect window as the Reds started right as soon as the Bearcats started. So it created a little space when everybody left to go to the game. And then they both ended within like 10 minutes, which made getting out of the garage a little bit of a pain in the ass. But
gotcha.
Deanna does not have a Pike to Ben's cup. Hunter, $5 at a time. Hunter is spending those gambling winnings. Real quick, do we think that Dylan Gabriel has PTSD from the last time he played the Bearcats and shits the bed when we play Oklahoma? We'll get to that in a week. But I feel pretty good about Dylan Gabriel coming to Nippert Stadium. I did in the preview show pick the Bearcats win over Oklahoma, and they did not look dominant against SMU.
No, they almost lost.
I don't know that they almost lost, but
I got a notification on my app saying that they prevented an upset bid. So that's where I got that almost lost idea from.
SMU played them tight. I mean, it was never like there was never major game pressure. to where it was like, oh no. But like they were always around. Like they hung the entire game. The people want to talk about the Braden Smith catch right in the pike to bend spot. That's as good a catch as you'll see all season.
Oh yeah, no, the ability to you have the hand-eye coordination to actually make the catch, and having the body control to get whatever part of your body that you can possibly get down and bounds. I mean, Emory Jones said it. He doesn't know if he knows anyone else in the world that makes that catch, which you can name very few people. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson.
I posted it on Twitter. We told everybody.
Yeah.
Throughout camp that dude is electric. Like he just has whatever it is. And then how about the throw?
Yeah, ridiculous.
What a dime on that
He had
throw.
some good throws, back foot, on the run. He did a lot of good throws. Nothing crazy, but
no.
Good throws.
No. The Brayden Smith throw.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how he did that.
Dropped it in a bucket, like on a rope, rolling out to the right. Like now you know why he's got a couple touchdown passes in his career, and
he's got 190 throwing yards.
Yeah,
crazy. But Emory said, and I put this in my like couple notes tweet, that they repped that in practice twice, didn't get it, didn't complete it, and then Satterfield calls it during the game. So.
That's a dot, Hunter said. Hunter, you're the star of the show today.
Yeah.
I'm going to send Keegan enough to buy himself breakfast in the morning before he drives back to Cincinnati. Jeff said you won't see a much better connection than that. And I don't know if he's talking about Emory Jones to Braden Smith or Braden Smith to D. Wiggins, but both of them, I agree, Jeff. Both of them, I agree. Yeah, it was 14-11, and then Oklahoma scored two quickies. I guess it was a little bit.
Where was
it? 28-11. It was at Oklahoma.
Okay.
You can hear more about that tomorrow or in like 8 hours. Jeff and Dave are both here. They're going to be dragging ass for the Bearcat brunch in the morning, and Aaron is still 90 minutes from home. Driving. That one, you guys are going to need some serious coffee.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Or mimosas.
Yeah, mimosas, one of the two. Bearcat brunch. You get the coffee and then you get the mimosa, right? You get the coffee first, and then the bottomless mimosas come after. Maybe the two biggest plays of the game, Dante Corleone with the sack. Well, they did score a touchdown, though, eventually, didn't they?
Oh, yes.
On his sack. Yeah. But then
Jack
Dingle, your boy, Jack Dingle on fourth down, tied for the team lead in tackles with 7, had a couple key ones, and then makes, pretty much the play of the game on fourth down to send Pitt home.
I need to shamelessly plug that article tomorrow morning.
You should.
That's a good idea. But yeah, I mean, I think the last 3 series, he was just bull rushing basically every play. So it was good to see him get in there. And I'll tell you what, this defensive front, you think of Corleone and Briggs, and then you have Gresham come in as a potential guy. Eric Phillips, his get off is maybe the best out of all of them. There was one play where Jurkovec was scrambling out to his right, trying to extend a play, and Phillips just takes like a big lunge step to contain and then drives him into Juwan Briggs for the sack. And it's like that little stuff that you don't see that changes the game. And it's how mobile they are. Like I saw Dante Corleone stop on a dime and try to sack Jurkovec once. It was crazy.
You know the most impressive play today?
What?
I don't know how
he held onto
the ball when Phillips sacked him, because that was the perfect, that is almost that is a fumble.
Yeah.
98.3% of the time when the quarterback resets like that and the D lineman who is supposed to be out of the play keeps going,
Yeah.
and comes back and makes the contact as he's like this. I have no fucking clue how he didn't fumble.
Yeah. I have
No
no
clue.
idea.
Like
No idea.
when they showed the like I thought initially he fumbled and fell on it because my brain just said you can't
that ball's out.
possibly hold on to that ball when that happens. And then
Yeah.
like they showed the replay and he just like that guy's got the strongest hands. Like Coriante DeBerry is like, damn, your hands are strong, bro. Like I don't know how he came down with it. I have no clue.
Yeah. Hey, Connor.
These boys also hit hard, no fear in their eyes. How about the what? I'm convinced, like we're at a point now where anytime somebody makes a hit that hard, they just throw the flag, and then we'll figure it out afterwards whether it was or not.
When it's so violent, it's so hard to see.
Close. It was nowhere close. He drove his shoulder right into the guy's chest.
Yeah.
And then Narduzzi, I think, was arguing that, like, while he separated him from the ball, like, yeah, that's his job.
It's football.
His head was up here.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even close to the guy's helmet.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. That officiating crew was awful.
Yeah. The missed hold on Briggs was really bad, and then the block in the back on the long run. Yeah. Those were the two that I really saw.
Hunter with $10 just for the Threats Perfect boomstick he laid on the Pitt receiver. Hunter, I love you, man. Come to a watch party. I'll get you a beer.
I wanted to ask you this.
Okay.
How much do you think it impacts the game if they don't get that miracle bit like long reception on the second or third drive, where Ken Willis
offense
slipped?
Was inept.
Yes. And then that gave them momentum and they went down and scored. I'm like, if they don't get that, and that was on third down. I'm pretty sure that was on third down.
It was again, the only chance they had was just they couldn't run. They had no running game at all. And all they could do was just send guys and either try to back shoulder or go route and
Hope
throw
Justin
it
Harris
as far as
commits a DPI.
And before people shit on Justin Harris, I just also want you to go look at the stats. Justin Harris had 4 pass breakups on the game.
Yeah. He had the most roller coaster game I've ever seen the DB have.
I think he had, 3 PIs?
Yeah.
2 of them were legit. One of them...
down the sideline to the north end zone.
Manute Bol couldn't have caught that ball. Like, that was far out of bounds. And I just made a Manute Bol reference live on a podcast. I did.
Also, going off the DBs, no one is talking about it, rightfully so, because that's how you know he's doing good. But Jordan Young
is good.
He had a good game. Really good game.
They weren't chucking it his way.
No.
And remember, Justin Harris is good. Like, yes, he had a little bit of an up and down game, but that's Sammy Anderson's the starter there.
Yeah. Which is why Ken Willis was in and slipped and fell. So.
Well, Ken Willis subs in for Pace.
Oh yeah. Okay. Star. Okay, I got
Harris played for Sammy.
Yeah. The PBUs that Harris had also, it was like full on. They caught the ball and he
knocked it away.
Out. There were some people in the press box that were like, just keep on dropping the ball. These surprise, surprise, drop. And I'm like, that's not a drop. Like that's a contested
catch.
catch. It was a catch that it was a PBU.
Were you discouraged at all by the fourth quarter?
No.
I wasn't either.
It's win by whatever means. I'm trying to think of what play. I like the D Wiggins lateral play. I think Emery made some tough throws under duress off his back foot. I'm trying to think. I think it's different if they don't do the false start on that 4th and 1, because I'm pretty confident in them getting that 4th and 1, and then you can go down and score, and then everyone's like, okay, well, it's 34-21.
Yeah,
so
and it's over pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Dave,
I'm not. No.
Knock it off. You didn't see that, did you? Tonight, midnight. Apparently, there's a sexual assault investigation happening with Mel Tucker.
I didn't see that. I didn't get it from that. I'm too tired.
Tuck coming.
If you've ever seen one of that dude's press conferences, I don't know how he's a head coach.
Did you cover one?
Yeah, when they lost to Indiana in double overtime last year.
Woo!
Oh, that was so funny.
Woo. I mean, we've kind of just been screwing around and messing with the chat, but anything you take away from this thing other than, look, the EKU game they looked better than I thought they would look substantially across the board. Mm-hmm. That is magnified by how well Eastern Kentucky played Kentucky today. And then they go into Pitt, who, their offense isn't great, but they're gonna still be a factor in the ACC because of their defense.
They were 7-point underdogs. They were not supposed to win that game. That's point blank. They were not supposed to win that game. They went in and won by, what was it, 6 points? Yeah.
6, 27-21.
So,
and look, Corey Kiner looks like a 4-star college running. Like, he probably doesn't have
the
high-end speed.
Was he high 4?
He's pretty solid 4.
He didn't crack 5? Okay.
No. 5-star is the top 32 players in the country.
Sure. Well, we got 5-star plus coming out now, so I don't even know what that means.
But he's looking like a legit Power 5, high-level running back. Emory Jones has been solid. He's not making the mistakes that kind of have plagued him throughout his career. I still think there's room for improvement on the offensive line, but guess what? When a dude goes out and runs for 170 yards, 168 yards, your O-line played pretty well. They played well enough, right?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Satterfield, but I can't remember which drive it was. But Emory ran 2 times in a row in the red zone. I think one of them might have been designed. The other one was a scramble, which I think he had a little bit of time. I don't know. But they could have an agreement that says it's your internal clock. So when your internal clock goes off, just take off.
And it's also against Pitt.
Yeah, they're coming.
That rush is coming on the edges. Like, go. Like, I'm sure that was part of it. Again, Sat told everybody on Tuesday, like, we have an internal clock for this defense that tells the quarterback, you have this long, and if it's not there, go.
Mm-hmm.
Just go. And I think you saw that some tonight, and I think that changes what you can do on offense. And weirdly enough, like, Kiner doing what he did in the first half might have actually hurt the ability to function on offense in the second half, because they went in and said, we're getting crushed. We're getting gashed. And, sorry, it's all the Cincy lights. You know what a guy like Pat Narduzzi says? My defense does not get beat on the ground like that.
He's like, I will lose with dignity.
Right. You are not going to run for 350 yards on me.
No, yeah.
So that they came out and decided they were going to do everything to sell out and not let Kiner just run all over him in the second half. He was on pace for 260. Connor Does this win change your outlook on the season? I continue to become more confident that this is a pretty good team.
Yeah. I went into the
Right?
day thinking they could win.
You picked a win.
Contrary to which I was the closest to the actual score too.
Yeah, you were.
So I went in thinking they could win. Now this game shows us who they are. Like, this is a team that can compete in the Big 12. They're 2-0, beat a good they killed a good FCS team, and then just beat Pitt on the road, which I feel like that happens rarely. So
they hadn't lost a home non-conference game since 2018, 19, something like that. Like
they won 6 games in a row, going back to last season. So
yeah. I don't know that it drastically changes anything, but again, you start to look around. Houston lost to Rice. UCF needed a field goal to score 18 points and beat Boise in Boise. Texas
what
Tech.
are you doing? Baylor
looked better today. They lost, but they looked better today. BYU started slow and then kind of got it going late, but I don't see them. The only thing I worry about BYU is after Oklahoma Friday night at elevation, I worry about the circumstance for the BYU game more than I worry about BYU. But you look around the league and you go, like, I can talk myself into this.
Yeah.
I can talk myself into that. Like, now, all of a sudden, I don't think we're looking at things the way that we looked at things a month ago. Like, going into camp, I think the outlook is definitely brighter than it was August 1st, let's say.
I think it starts with that defensive front. Like, they're better than what we thought they would be, and we thought they would be the best in the Big 12, one of the best in the country.
Yeah, they were a menace today.
Yeah, they just constantly living in the backfield. So when you have that, when you have to have opposing teams dealing with Emory Jones is doing, if you don't allow a huge rusher like what Pitt did with Corey Kiner,
right,
you never know what can happen. You can be in a position to win if your offense can be all right.
It's shaping up to be very interesting.
Very interesting. If they can beat Miami, that atmosphere at Nippert for Oklahoma is going to be insane, and I cannot wait.
I mean,
biggest since Houston?
Way bigger than Houston, though. Well, not
playoff,
way bigger,
like before the playoff.
That was there were extenuating circumstances for that game that were bigger than that game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't that the Houston, like, playing Houston was a big deal. It was that don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up. Right? Like, just get to the finish line, win by 1, and we're going to the playoff. Like, that was why that game was so big. Like, this is the first game in the Big 12. And Fickle left, right? And everybody's a little on edge. You know what I mean? Like, so then you come in, and if you beat Miami, one game
Miami's
at a time.
got a all right team. So
Keegan, you got one game at a time. You got to take it one game at a time. It's a 1-week season. I live under a rock. Rock's a little uncomfortable tonight. I'm just saying. But if you get past Miami and you get to Oklahoma in Nippert, which everybody said nobody like that will ever play a game in Nippert because it's, it's not big enough. It's not this. It's not that. that place will be as electric as it's ever been at kickoff 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
But gotta win the bell, keep the bell. 29th year in a row, I think it is. No, 17, 16, 17, 18. I don't know.
No idea. Thank you, Zach Edwards, that it's not only like 3 or 4 years.
No, Malik Clements. That's who you're thinking of.
The pick six? At Yager Stadium?
Malik Clements, no, it wasn't a pick six. It was they were going in to score and win the game. And Malik Clements, Chuck Martin lost his brain, and like if they were throwing a pass on a, like all they had to do was just you play to win the game, and he got cute and they threw it and Malik Clements picked it off. And
I thought it was Zach Edwards. I could be wrong.
Malik Clements.
Gotcha.
Zach, I think, was gone by then.
Maybe
it was Fickle's first year. Yeah, it was Fickle's first year.
Okay.
So I think Zach's last year was Tuberville's last year.
Gotcha.
But here we are. Like that, I don't think. I think people thought they would look like Kentucky looked like Eastern Kentucky today. Like that. That's what everybody kind of thought. That's how week one would go, and then they score touchdowns on their first 6 possessions, and they beat the piss out of Eastern Kentucky, and then they go into Pitt and they win. And now you beat Miami, and all of a sudden everybody's got those eyebrows raised. And guess what? We're starting to learn something important. And we've kind of known this, but we're starting to learn something important. It's a lot of coaches that can win here because this is a good place to win. It's a lot of coaches that can win here because this is a good place to win.
Mm-hmm.
Butch Jones won 2 Big East championships. And that man was crying like a bitch on the sidelines last week. I'm just saying, it's a program where you can win if you're competent, and even if you're not. Tommy Tuberville won 2 American Athletic Conference, tied for 2 American Athletic Conference championships while he was here. I'm just saying, if you have half a brain, you can win a lot of football games here. And I like what I've seen from Scott Satterfield's offense. Let's see what this defense can do in a high-powered league. I don't think we know much about this defense yet, because Pitt's offense was trash.
10 for 32.
That's our secondary is going to be the death of us. The guy completed 10 passes. 10. The whole fucking game. You got to go. I don't want your girlfriend to be mad at me.
I'm just chilling, man. This is fun.
You got a suite? Like, is she in another room, or is like the bed on the other side of that camera?
The bed is on the other side of this camera.
And she's just looking at you like
she's chilling. She's chilling on her phone.
She got AirPods, or
no, she's listening to me.
Oh, that poor girl. That poor girl. All right. 76 people at 1:30 in the morning. You guys are nuts. I want to keep going, but I'm at 78 people.
You got to make over easy eggs tomorrow morning. You got to be on your game.
I do have to. Well, I mean, Kelly's big thing. Kelly loved over easy eggs and grits. So I'd make grits, and then she would put the over easy eggs, and let the yolk run into the grits.
Geta?
Yeah, probably some Geta. Pancakes, hash browns, over easy eggs, maybe a little bit of Geta.
Sounds like a good Sunday.
Yeah. And then, of course, can we go to Kenwood to go to Lululemon? Like, no! Wrong with you, child? The Bengals are on at 1.
Yeah, no.
What time are you getting on the road?
I'm going to try to be out of here by 9 so I can catch the second slate. So
I mean, you'll be almost home by if you leave at 9. You'll
it's
be home.
4.5.
Yeah, you'll be home by 1:30.
I'll probably see the second half of the first slate, which I'll be happy to see.
All right. Well,
So
tell your girlfriend I said thanks for allowing you to play with us tonight.
I
People are happy. The people are happy. It was a win. Everybody's excited.
Yes.
The Bearcat brunch is in like, I don't know, 45 minutes. It starts. They'll have everything at 10. I'll have Brendel's Bites sometime tomorrow. I was going to start those after we did the nightcap, and then
That took
a long
forever.
time to get the nightcap started.
Yep.
So I will sit down and probably do the bites while I'm after I cook breakfast and getting ready to watch the Bengals. Jason. Bed Bath and Beyond, Home Depot. I never have enough time. I do need some candles. We need some new candles in this place. It's like, where are all the candles? Because he's like, they're in my room. I'm like, your room's this big. What do you have all the candles upstairs? All right. Thanks to Keegan Nickerson. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Galactic Fried Chicken for sponsoring. Thanks to the Holy Grail. Thanks to Cincy Light, Rheingeist, everybody. It has been fantastic. And stay tuned. Lots more content coming. We'll see you next time. That's the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.